Hello, everyone. Episode 2 of Sports Desk.
Sports Desk. We back.
Episode
We in
2.
action. Did you send it to Adam?
No, I didn't.
From the penthouse.
From the penthouse.
From the penthouse.
We should probably send this to Adam.
We should probably send this to
I was going to send this link to Adam so that Adam can watch. But anyways, welcome, everyone. We're happy to see you again.
Welcome back.
We got lots of great content for you today. However, it will be a little shorter because Skylar's got to skedaddle.
I gotta save a life.
He has a life to save. So,
Speed round.
we are going to start with our first segment. Sports Desk.
For starters, we're gonna kick it off with recapping what kind of went on last week when Jake and I did our picks. Long story short, I won because I'm better. Let's see, the score is 11-9.
So it was close.
It was close,
I put up a respectable fight.
but I still won.
This is true. I'm coming for you though, week 2.
So then we went ahead and decided to take our best picks from this next week so that we didn't take as much time.
Your time's important.
So our games of the week included Detroit and Green Bay, Carolina and Tampa Bay, Baltimore, Houston, New Orleans, Las Vegas, Los Angeles Rams and Philly, Washington and Arizona, and then New England and Seattle. So those are the games that we decided to choose from. We figured that those ones were going to be the best competition. But yeah, let's get down to it. Looks like Jake and I agreed on just about all of them, except for the Los Angeles Rams and the Philadelphia Eagles. Jake, what persuaded you to pick Philly over the Rams?
So I really enjoyed how Philadelphia lost in week 1 against Washington. And I think they're going to use that loss as motivation to really fight hard against the Rams, who struggled actually quite a bit against Dallas in week 1. So I think Carson Wentz, Zach Ertz, Miles Sanders, all his weapons on offense are going to help propel them to victory. And they're at home, so I think that'll help too. Being on the road is always tough.
Yeah, and we also kind of noticed that any team that had fans won their game. So there was like 2 games that included fans, and those teams ended up winning this week. However, I chose the Rams because I figured their defense, their offense, they're a well-rounded team. Granted, they're not like the greatest. They're kind of, like Jake said, struggling. But I feel like they are going to just kind of pull through, beat Philly. Philly have lost already, so.
And if you want an example of how great LA's defense is, look up the video of Ezekiel Elliott scoring on 5 Rams defenders. So
Zeke's a baller.
I'm just saying.
He's not a tubby dude. He's a baller.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, Ezekiel Elliott has a stomach tattoo around his belly button that says "Feed me." So I think that alone tells you that he's a little bit of a chunkster.
I think being a running back in the NFL, I was going to say the NBA, is just enough for anybody to respect that man. Jake's just straight disrespectful.
I find it a little annoying.
That's a chat sound. We got a chat already?
We already have a chat.
Holy cow.
From Lucas Rucker. Better than Vikings trash defense.
Yeah, that was not a good showing. It
was rough.
From that entire game, throughout the course of it, from first quarter to fourth quarter, the Vikings defense was playing like it was preseason. Like, I'm sure Aaron Rodgers is still like a really good quarterback, but he had all day to throw. He had like 5 seconds in the pocket each and every snap of the ball. It was awful. It was hard to watch. As us Vikings fans, it was tough. It was not good. But props to the Packers O-line though.
Yeah, they played really well. The Vikings could get a pass rush on the D-line, like Skylar said, and the cornerbacks, it seemed, on a lot of routes were 5-10 yards off the receiver. So the inexperience definitely showed itself in that game.
That is true. On the injury report, both of our starting corners were hurt. One of them did not practice. The other one did. I don't remember who was who, but
yeah,
that is kind of a bummer to see.
Yeah, so maybe next week the Vikings play at Indianapolis. Shout out to Christian Island. That's your favorite team. So hopefully it's a better matchup. If we lose, hopefully it's a little closer. Yeah. This mask is definitely giving away.
Hopefully we come to play and not just dilly-dally.
Yeah, but looking at those other games, Detroit, Green Bay, we both picked Green Bay. I just think Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams, it's going to be a good offensive game for him.
Yeah, unfortunately Detroit last week playing against, what was it,
the Bears.
The Bears.
Yeah, that was a good game.
Oof, that was a good game. Detroit could have won it had their running back not dropped it for a walk-off score.
Right.
It's awful.
It's just so Detroit for that to
100%.
happen. Detroit's one of those teams, they have all the talent in the world, it seems, and can never live up to expectations.
Yeah.
I think Matt Patricia's out the door after this season.
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. One of the games that I'm really interested in is New England at Seattle. I think that could be a pretty close game.
I think so. New England, as everybody knows, lost Tom Brady and now has Cam Newton as their quarterback, who seemed to actually do really well taking the helm for Bill Belichick and his offense. And that looks well for anybody who has him in fantasy, and anybody who was sitting back not taking him in any of their fantasy leagues, try to jump on that just because there's a whole lot of potential there, and Belichick knows what he's doing when it comes to offense.
Yeah, I think Cam Newton definitely picked up right where the Patriots offense left off last year. But we both picked Seattle in this game just because they're just such a well-rounded team, and Wilson's just so solid at quarterback for them. So it should be interesting.
That is true. Another good game I feel is going to be Carolina at Tampa Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Tampa Bay struggled against the Saints, and it was really good throughout the first couple of series, where Tampa Bay was just absolutely shutting down the Saints offense, but then everything after that was just mistakes started to stack up, and it just did not fare well. So it's kind of a disappointing performance for Tampa Bay, and Tom Brady was livid with his entire team.
Yeah, it was not a pretty showing by Brady for sure. Throwing a pick six to Janoris Jenkins of the Saints, just not a good showing for him overall. You know, it makes you wonder if that signing was a little overrated. Who knows?
Yeah. But
But it's also only one game, so you can't really jump to conclusions.
that is true.
Yeah, we both picked Baltimore over Houston. I mean, Baltimore beat Cleveland, albeit Cleveland, in Week 1 by, very convincing methods. But I mean, Houston's tough, but I just think Baltimore is just top of the AFC this year.
Yeah, and the way Houston played on Thursday night, I have a feeling if they do that again, there's no way they're going to be able to beat Baltimore.
Yeah.
We can go ahead and move on to the next section.
Yeah, we got cool NFL news. Or just do it. It's cool. Thank you, Jack.
Good interlude.
We want to talk about some of the bigger news stories from the NFL this past week. We'll go pretty quick here. As we mentioned, the Packers destroyed the Vikings. Rodgers threw 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Devonta Adams had 14 catches for $156. 1 or 2 touchdowns, I believe. So they destroyed the Vikings pass defense.
They did. Tore them right apart.
Yeah.
What we got next?
Raiders and
Panthers in a close one. Josh Jacobs came through with a really big game for the Raiders, which was not all that surprising considering he had such a great rookie year last year.
Mm-hmm.
Ran for 93 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns is a lot.
That's a lot, especially for fantasy. Spencer says the Chargers beat Cincinnati. Yes, and it was not pretty for Cincinnati to lose the way they did. 31-yard field goal or something to tie the game, and the kicker hurt himself and missed the kick. So that just sucks.
Yeah.
But going back to this last week, actually just a few nights ago on Monday Night Football, the Titans beat the Broncos. As Steven Gostkowski hit a game-winning field goal from 27 yards out, which was probably more nerve-wracking than it should have been because he had missed 4 kicks earlier in the game, 3 field goals and an extra point.
Which is a lot, especially for him,
Mm-hmm.
the dude who has been Mr. Consistent throughout his entire career, and then first game of the year just was struggling right off the bat, which is unfortunate, but also, as a kicker it happens.
Right, and you figure he's going to be a future Hall of Famer. You wonder if the limited off-season work maybe affects his performance like it does for a lot of players, I'm sure.
Yeah, like the Vikings offensive line.
The Vikings offensive line for the
and
Vikings
defensive
just sucks,
line.
yeah.
Just the lines.
So
all the lines.
We have a pretty fun piece of information here that Skylar found for us today. Actually, we're going to talk about the 5 teams that have the most winning seasons in the last 50 years.
Oof,
Wait,
yes.
This is backwards. Yeah, 50 years.
50
so
years.
Who we got?
Where's this one at?
Right there.
All right. So, obviously, leading the charge, we have Pittsburgh, who has the most Super Bowls, or are they tied for the most right now with New England?
It might be tied.
But they are leading the charge with 36 winning seasons in the last 50 years. New England has 34 winning seasons in the last 50 years, followed by Philadelphia, who has 33 winning seasons, and Minnesota, surprisingly, is on that list.
Suck it, Green Bay. Sorry.
Most winning seasons, 31 in the last 50 years, and then that's followed up by Miami, which is also another shocker considering how bad they've been these last couple of years.
Yeah.
But they are sitting in there with a solid 30 winning seasons out of the last 50.
I will say the Miami one definitely surprised me when, as you mentioned, they've been struggling, especially the last 2 years, getting top draft picks due to the struggles the last few seasons. So who knows? Maybe they'll turn it around. But yeah, it is very interesting to see that stat for sure. Pittsburgh not really surprising though.
Yep, not at all.
Yeah. New England neither. they're just always up there. They're always going to be contenders, I feel.
Yeah, they've always been the dynasties.
Minnesota, I'm not surprised just because we're good. We're a good team.
So great.
Always will be. We don't need the championship to validate our success. Do you want to move on to the NBA?
Let's go ahead and move on to the NBA. Unfortunately for me, Celtics boys ended up losing first round of the series of the Eastern Conference Finals against the Miami Heat in an overtime loss. It was quite a bummer. But on the bright side, we won Game 7 of the game before that.
True. Although that does nothing for you in this series. It was a good game. It was, 117 to 114?
Something like that. It was really close.
Yeah.
It was just unfortunate because they had like a 10-point lead going into like the final 2 minutes of the fourth quarter. And they did not hold it.
Yeah, I could see this being a 7-game series, though. It's pretty tight competition. Both teams seem pretty equally matched.
100%.
I'd say. And then yesterday we had kind of an upset in the Western Conference as the Nuggets beat the Clippers in Game 7 of the Western Conference semifinals. The Clippers had a 3-1 lead, and they could not clinch the series in the next 3 games.
Not only did the Nuggets beat them, but they destroyed them.
Yes.
Like, that game wasn't even fun to watch. It was just so, like...
Not if you're a Clippers fan.
So boring.
Yeah, and, like, LA had a double-digit lead in the second half, I believe, in the last 3 games, and they blew it every time. If not the second half in yesterday's game, I believe it was the first half. But regardless, quite a comeback for the Nuggets. I think it'll be an interesting series against the Lakers. I'm pulling for the Nuggets just because, everyone hypes up LeBron and AD and LA, and, I just like that smaller market team. Plus, I love Colorado, so.
I'm going for the Nuggets because I'm hungry.
I could use some chicken nuggets now, actually. That sounds fantastic.
All right.
We're going to...
Take it away, Jack.
Take it away. So we're going to start with baseball now. Very brief. Not a ton of news in the baseball world. However, some big stories. The Dodgers, LA Dodgers, were the first team to clinch a playoff spot in the National League. Maybe in all of baseball. I'm not actually sure. Either today or yesterday. So you can start to see the playoff seedings kind of start to take shape. And Major League Baseball announced yesterday or 2 days ago that they're going to actually play the postseason in a bubble format, kind of like what the NBA did for the playoffs. They're going to play different rounds of the postseason in various stadiums, like in San Diego, in Arlington, Texas, like where the Rangers play. So they're going to be trying to condense it a little bit, and I think their goal is to actually have some fans for the World Series, which, I think fans in baseball, that's just such a huge part of the game. So
100%.
Should be interesting.
As is any other
Exactly.
game. The fan aspect is just huge.
Exactly.
Which raises questions like, how well would a team do that lost that didn't have fans? Like, how would they do if they had fans?
Right. It's weird seeing kickoffs this past Sunday, and as the ball's sailing through the air, you see blank stadium.
Yeah.
So that's weird.
It's kind of bizarre.
Yeah. Keeping it local.
Keeping it local. Moving on. Okay. Sweet Sassy Molassie. All right. Wisconsin Lutheran College both tipped off athletic seasons in men's golf and women's golf. Women's golf we mentioned in the last week's episode. They ended up actually winning their outing, and then men's golf took a solid second place.
Good job, guys. We're really proud of you. We're representing WLC. RMS. This is a little tough to orient, but yeah. So great job, guys. Keep up the good work. Shout out to the golf coach. You're doing a great job.
I hear he's quite the man.
I hear he's quite the guy. So keep up the good work, guys, and we're cheering for you. So we're going to move on to our last segment of tonight's episode. As we said, we're keeping it quite short. Sky's got things to do.
That's right.
So we're going to list off our top 5 sports movies, and if you have a favorite movie that we don't mention and you want to drop it in a comment, we'd love to hear your suggestions or your ideas. Skyler, did you want to go with your list?
Yeah, so in no particular order, I have When the Game Stands Tall, which is just an absolutely phenomenal movie. I'm a football player. I love anything that has to do with like football. And that one, my high school football coach and I actually, like, we as a team went to that in theaters, and so that was just like a special treat. Next we have Rudy, and Rudy, that one's just kind of a classic. You gotta have that one. Same with Radio. Radio is just like a touching, heartwarming story. Remember the Titans is another one that's just right up there on the list. And then finally I have Benchwarmers, because who can't live without a good comedy?
Benchwarmers is a really great movie. Yeah, I've actually never seen Rudy, which is quite embarrassing, actually. I'm a little embarrassed. So I might have to get on that. Thank you for that suggestion.
Do it.
Okay. My top 5 movies, like you said, in no particular order. I have Radio, a great football movie, great story set in the 70s, the high school football team, so I definitely would recommend that. Blindside, the true story of Michael Orr, great movie.
That was a good movie.
Yeah, just very emotional, very very heartwarming and touching. I have 8 Men Out, which is actually kind of a lesser known sports movie. It was made in the 80s and it's got like Charlie Sheen in it. It's about the 1919 Chicago White Sox who threw the World Series against the Reds because they felt underpaid. So gamblers offered them a ton of money to throw the World Series with betting and everything because they were the favorites, but they threw it and then they were exposed later and they got kicked out of baseball. So quite an interesting story. If you're a baseball fan, you know.
That's one movie that I have not seen. I'm a little bit surprised on your list that you don't have 42.
Oh my goodness. I knew there was one I was missing. That is literally on there. That should be on there. Thank you.
Yeah, this.
Oh my goodness. Yes, 42. 42, especially, you know.
Oh,
that movie was definitely brought to light.
I might have to go.
Oh, Skyler might have to ditch. But we're almost done here. So I got 42 yes. Facing the Giants, great football movie, great heartwarming story. And then Gladiator, because I think
it's 12 minutes.
Okay, you got 12 minutes?
I got 12 minutes.
Okay, so Gladiator is not really like a sport movie. However, I will just say for the record, back in ancient Rome, killing people was considered sport. And I just think it's a good movie overall. I don't condone human slaughtering. I want to make that very clear. I don't condone that. It's just a great movie. Russell Crowe does a great job. But yes, thank you for 42. I can't believe I forgot that.
I can't believe you forgot that.
That's one of my favorite movies of all time.
I can't believe you're going to put Gladiator over 42.
I panicked.
Lord.
I panicked. Okay, no, 42. Definitely on there. Yeah. If you have any other suggestions for sports movies that maybe we missed that you can think of, let us know.
Feel free to drop some questions in the comments, too.
Yeah.
Give us something to talk about while we waste away these last couple of minutes.
Here's a good question I have for you, Skylar.
Yes, sir.
Do you believe the Madden curse is real?
The Madden curse. Unfortunately, I mean, I can't say that I do, but it does seem like anybody who's ever on the cover, like, automatically has kind of a slump year after that in these last couple of seasons. Like, I don't know.
I just think of like Peyton Hillis with the Browns like 10 years ago. He just sucked after he was on Madden. We actually have a few comments about sports movies. We have.
Oof, yes, we're getting a lot of them.
Okay, yeah, Space Jam.
Space Jam.
Didn't even think of that one.
That's like my entire childhood right there.
Okay, that makes up for me forgetting 42.
No, it doesn't.
Space Jam.
No, because.
Are you serious?
Yeah, because that's how things work here at SportzDescx.
Where fairness apparently is not a thing. We also have Miracle. That's a great movie.
That is another good one, but you know.
I think Goon
didn't make my
list. It's a great sports movie.
High quality. Classic.
Ice Princess. I'm not sure if that's a Disney movie.
It does sound like a figure skating one that I would not be interested in.
It kind of sounds.
Miss Izzy.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Izzy. That kind of sounds like the type of movie you get your 4-year-old on VHS at a rummage sale. I don't know. I've never heard of Ice Princess. Watch it be like an actually great movie that we're just roasting.
Yeah, and it's gonna be about Jake's life. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it.
Dude, you're just hurting me so much today, dude. After all I've done for you, what did I do?
What button did you hit?
What did I do?
The wrong button.
Whoa.
What did I do? How do I undo that?
Stop it.
Top left.
Sorry.
Oh, we back.
I didn't mean to do that. That was accidental.
Alrighty. Do we got any more questions rolling in? Any more movie suggestions?
No. Literally no one.
Oh.
Hoosiers is a good movie. Hoosiers is a good sports movie.
I don't know if I've ever seen that one.
I haven't either. I just hear it's a great movie. I probably should watch that though.
23 Blast is another football movie that I've heard of. However, this one I have not seen. But it is about a running back who was either in an accident or something happened, and he ended up blind. And so this is about him kind of trying to make it back into football with his newfound troubles.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, and I think that one's a Christian-based movie, and so that one's pretty cool. If we want to go on a more like NASCAR route, I hear Ricky Bobby really knows his way around a track, and those are some good sports movies.
Field of Dreams was just mentioned as well.
That's one I have not seen.
I haven't either. But yeah, Talladega Nights, great movie.
Oh yes, 100%. Would
Right.
recommend. Show it to your kids.
Yeah. Yeah, Field of Dreams is a good movie, I've heard. I haven't seen it. Do you have to head out?
I should probably head out.
All right, guys.
All right. Thanks for tuning in tonight, everybody.
Thank you guys so much. We'll be back next week with some great sports content.
Us here at Sports Desk are so thankful for you, all 12 of you.
Sports Desk.
Sports Desk. Changing the game.
Changing the game. Rocky, good movie.
Oh, they just keep coming.
First he said Toki.